Why hello there, chibi characters and normally proportioned humans alike. Shams Nelson here from Fantastic Anatomy, and today is the second video in my series of how to draw in my how to draw like series. I'm not sure if you can see this. I've never actually switched screens, so I'm hoping it'll show up. I'll just scroll through it quickly. Today we're talking about Derek Laufman, so if you're not seeing me scroll through his webpage, then you can check it out at dereklaufman.com. And his work's pretty cool, and he does a lot of chibi characters. He does other stuff too, but that's what I'm going to focus on, kind of what I learned studying his chibi character style and what you guys can take away from it. So yeah, let's get started. So I've got some samples here. They're from his Art Book 1. That's what it's called, Art Book 1. Very creative title. um, uh, but it's a really great book. It's got a lot of examples of stuff of all his art and sketches and things like that. So yeah, I recommend you check it out. It's definitely worth the $15 if you're going to study it and learn from it. So the first thing about chibi characters is that they have a big head, of course. This is typical of any chibi character. But the thing that Derek does is he's kind of like, I feel like the way to describe the heads are like rounded square type shapes. So something like this is more typical. Like, I don't usually see that his heads are perfectly round. I mean, this one over here is more egg shaped, but even so, it's kind of a little flatter on the sides. You can see that the left side comes up like this, and then it's pretty round and round in the front, and then the bottom's got a flattish quality to it, and I really like that. I'm not sure why it adds so much, but it really does give the heads a special feel to it. And so this one over here is that guy with the dreads, and usually the chins will be a little pointier. You'll notice like down here. Let's zoom in on these guys. The chin area is often a little pointier. Alright, so let's go ahead and draw one of these guys and talk about it while we do. So since I started with this guy, let's continue with him, why not? So another thing he does that I really like is the nose is just often the shape of the nose, and it's like kind of stands on its own. Like this guy's, sometimes it's very simple, like here you can see just a tiny little triangle like this. And here we've got, for the older man, we've got kind of, what is this, eggplant shape? And I moved, it's way too close to the center. So the first thing you should do actually before all this is draw your cross hatching. He has actually a video of shows his process in doing Greedo on YouTube, and I think if you just search for like Derek Laufman and find his YouTube channel, he doesn't have that many videos, but it's a nice video to see his process and stuff like that. I don't think he really like breaks down his own style the way I'm doing here. So, but he tells about his process and how he comes up with ideas and poses and what he's thinking. It's a really great video. So I definitely suggest you check it out. It's going to be very different content than this video. So let's go ahead and look at this girl's head too. I'll just do it down here so that we can save space for the body over here on this guy. So her head might be something more like this. I can't really see it under there, but it comes down to a point. And then let's say we got cross section like this. We got a little nose like that. And I've actually taken this idea of these noses and even like transposed them to more realistic type heads. So if you're drawing like a head with like slightly more realistic proportions or whatever, and then you can just kind of place this in the nose in like this. It's a great way to start building in the proportions of your face. And then you can kind of emphasize the bottom part, add the drop shadow or whatever. And if you want, you can keep this part, and I like to shade it in and just leave a light shine for the nose. But if you want, you can also erase that out, and you'll still, and keep these the other lines, and still have like a good nose. But it's nice to, from like different angles, you know, you can kind of just like, oh, that's where the nose goes. The nose goes. Something like that, you know, and then you can kind of get a feel. Like even I've started doing this with the mouth, where I'll draw like that, draw the mouth like that, and carve out the lips. See what I'm saying? So using like bigger shapes to find where you want all your proportions and everything is a great thing to do, I think. I guess I'll leave that, whatever's not getting in the way. Alright, cool. So the next thing is the bodies. Tend to be a kind of square shape like this. A little bit shorter than the head, I would say. And he really varies, like the eyes and stuff like that. But one eye that I'll show you that's kind of, I think of it as maybe his like trademark, I don't know, this Goku eye. So why don't we give this guy a Goku eye? We don't have to draw him exactly the same as the other picture. So we got something going like that. So we'll make we'll mix it up and make our own character. But it's got basically this line and this line kind of mirror each other, but on opposite sides. I don't know if that makes sense. Let's give him some eyebrows. Sure, something like that. So that'll be fun. Let's mix up this character with all different types of characters and move. And so one of the things also is that the arms are kind of, let's have this arm sticking out more to illustrate this better. They stick out like this and they taper in a little bit. And the hands are very blocky. And that's one of the things I really like actually about his style. And even with his non-chibi characters, so see how like the fingers come off in blocks and like you can just kind of like hint at the knuckle right there by curving that up. So even in his non-chibi characters, like I got a detail from his Joker. Look at how nice and square that hand is. The finger is literally like a beautiful little squared off shape like that, you know, and then it kind of, the plane changes are so clean. I don't know. I really like that. I need to practice my hands, and I think I'd like to develop that kind of style. I didn't even get the angle and stuff right, but you get the idea. And you can see that the squareness kind of pervades throughout, but they're soft squares, just like the head. It's rounded off. The squares are rounded off. So this looks a little awkward, but whatever. We'll leave it. Let's go back to the image we were working from. Alright, well, you know what, his arms are more muscular than most. Let's go to one of these guys who doesn't have as muscular an arm to better illustrate what I'm talking about. So, alright, so the arm goes down about here. And you know what, actually let's get rid of this awkward arm because I want to point out something else about how the arm has a curve to it. Again, it's curved. He's got this great interplay between curved and straight lines. So you can see how it seems blocky, but at the same time the whole thing has a curved gesture line going through it, which makes it feel like alive. So what I would do is I just draw like this, the chunk of the arm, and then kind of have these chunks coming off. Something like that. Okay, give him the sleeve. And it plugs in just under the head, almost no neck. Trying to see it. Does he have one where we can see how the head connects to the neck? It kind of just sits right there. Here you can almost see, but like the neck is very like short and stubby if it exists. If we were to draw through, I think the neck would be something like that. Just very, like you can't, just enough to let the head swivel. That's what I would say. Mouth are pretty basic, you know. He mixes it up with beards and stuff, but usually it's just a line. Maybe that little line underneath. Let's see. Let's look at some other ones. Batman. I love the shape of Batman's head in this, man. Here, let's go ahead and look at that. So it's got rounded on top. Kind of comes over, square jaw. I don't know why I like it so much. But then you can see also with the arms, they taper in. So also remember like foreshortening, and he mentions this when you're looking, I think he mentions in this video, but like think about how the, even with the chibi character, like in which way the arms and stuff are moving. So here there's a nice flow going through the arms. They make like a nice, so I made one arm way too low. So I'm going to want to line them up like that kind of thing. Anyways, but the tapering of the arms from a larger area to the smaller, and with the little hands, this one has bigger hands. But if you want to make something cuter, and this is something I learned from an Aaron Blaze video, then make the hands smaller. And I mean by that I mean the hands smaller in comparison to the arms, because babies tend to have little chubby arms and small hands. So and that's how where we get our notion of what's cute is pretty much from babies, or baby animals and stuff like that. Check out this again. There's this little less taper, but very squared off. This one doesn't have, the arms aren't as small. And I think you'll notice like this Batman for some reason seems a little cuter than this Spider-Man, in my opinion. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Or like there's something, I don't know. I think the very tiny hands and feet kind of make this Batman like almost like he's a little baby. While these guys, since they have bigger hands and feet in comparison to their arms, um, it's not as baby. See, you did the squareness on the hands there and there. Those weird poses bugging me, so I'm gonna get rid of them. And yeah, let's finish up the last of this this character we're amalgamating. Is that a word? Together. So let's give him some Goku hair, because I like Goku. I like Goku's hair. Goku's hair is sick. Get rid of this guy too. Alright. Goku's got something like that usually. I can't really see it as well from this angle, but alright, so he's got some kind of like DBZ type hair. And then, what does he do for ears? His ears are pretty much, let's see, do I have anything? I don't remember taking particular note about the ears. They're pretty simple. It's nice and clean, you know, you don't want to, maybe a little bit big. I think that goes with the chibi look. Okay. Anyways, so let's go ahead, like, see how this hand, and sometimes it will give muscles. So let's give this guy some muscles. When the muscles come in, they're true to anatomy, but they're definitely simplified. So, so you got like the basic arm like that, and then you're gonna have just a tricep, and then he just kind of goes straight into the forearm because there's not that much room, and it kind of hints at like an elbow here, but there's not like that much room to go into all the lots of bumps. That wouldn't look very good. So there's like this one, then the bicep, and the bicep kind of curls in like this, and then the forearm comes straight out like that. From the other side, let's go ahead and redo this one. You don't want the hands coming down here. See how square that finger is? Okay, and then up here, so we got the shoulder. Shoulders coming in front of the triceps, and the big forearm. Alright, cool. So let's make him kind of hilarious. I'm going to give him the overalls from that chubby balding character. Let's give him some overalls, why not? But instead of giving him overalls, I'm going to give him some pants with the overalls. So I want to differentiate this. So this is another thing I really like about his characters. See, there's a wide area between the legs. There's always a gap there. I guess with the female characters, not as much so. I'm not sure. Can you tell? But look at this. That guy has a gap. This guy has a gap. This guy has a gap right here in between his legs. This guy has a gap. And then the legs, this one would too, if you can see him. Batman. Can't tell as much from this pose, but yeah, there would be a gap. So you can tell, see, he's got his underwear. This is where the legs come out. There's that whole space right there. That's a big part of this style, I think. And it helps the characters move around a bit better, I think. And so you have that gap. So it's kind of like you can cut off a chunk for the pelvis, and then just two chunks coming off. And for the feet, just a little tiny hint like that. Alright. That's it. The feet are like almost flat. So let's give him these like farmer shoes. Come over like that. Come over like that. Okay. He's wearing like jeans maybe. Gonna look something like that. And this part comes over, the legs coming out from behind. I guess actually no. Now as I look at it, there tends to be an upward curve like this, and this leg, since we're in 3/4 view, so technically this should probably be a little farther over. The middle line, the center line's coming in like this, so even more, but whatever, it's not that big a deal. We've created like a chubby farmer Goku with a big nose. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy about that. Maybe I'll ink them later. We'll see. Let's clean this up, make it more. So, alright, I think that's it. Yeah, thanks Derek Laufman. David Laufman, I don't know who that is. Thanks Derek Laufman for your awesome chibi style. He keeping us inspired. And peace, God bless, and stay fantastic, everyone.